You don't know the ripple effect that your purpose is supposed to have. If you're supposed to touch somebody that is then supposed to touch 20 other people, and those 20 other people are supposed to touch 1,000 people, and you don't do your part, then guess what? None of those people are going to be touched simply because you as one individual did not do your part. That is why it is important to know that as God's people, we submit to his will and whatever it is that he wants to do with us, knowing that his will actually does help us and glorify us, especially if we're operating in our purpose, and not just get very comfortable with not wanting to do or be anything much. Sorry, but not sorry.
Every day is the day that it's time to make a change from the things that aren't serving your life. Just try to walk away, take the power from the pain and keep praying for the day. Come on and talk about it.
I know that things are hard. I know that life can get hard, but trust me, like if you are able to get through it, everything turns out fine in the end.
What is up, everyone? Sophia here, and I'm back with another episode. Welcome back to The Relatable Christian. I'm Dr. Reed. So if you're new here, then hey. If you're returning, then thank you so much for tuning in to join me. So what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about your purpose, finding your purpose, understanding the dynamic of purpose, and understand how God sees your purpose, okay? Because I'm so sad to say that a lot of people spend time on earth just kind of willy-nilly watching life passing them by, not knowing why they're here, not caring, not doing anything significant in their lives. And then by the time they get to the end of their lives, they look back like, what did I do really? So if you know that God formed you in your mother's womb and that he put you here, obviously he wanted you here, and there is a reason why he put you here. It could be small, it could be big, it could be anything, but you should be trying to figure out what in the world that is and not just get so comfortable with just watching life pass you by or just spending it doing a whole bunch of nothing, hoping for the best. And then when you die, God is like, servant, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Did you know that you're not supposed to do this? You're like, no, I didn't know, because you never really took the time to try to figure that out. So I want to get into the story of the talents, and it comes from Matthew 25. And I'm going to be starting from verse 13. And it says, therefore be on alert and be prepared and ready, for you do not know the day or the hour when the Son of Man will return. I want to stop there because we're going to get into the parable of the talents, and it calls them talents in some things, because it's like, you don't know the hour in which you're going to die. You don't know when Jesus is going to return. And if it's and Jesus return and you caught off guard and there was a mission or purpose that he set out for you to do and you did not do it, then ultimately you're going to be held accountable for that. Even though we want to party, we want to have fun, that's great. Nobody's trying to stop you from doing that. Life doesn't have to be about all work. But you need to balance that out by finding out why on earth God put you here. What are the talents and abilities that are within you, and how you can utilize those talents and abilities in whatever capacity that might be. You can create some clothes. I don't know, that might be your talent and ability. You could be starting a nonprofit, a store, helping people, touching people, raising good kids. I don't know. But I do know that you need to go ahead and figure that out, because if God has set you out for a specific purpose, you don't know the ripple effect that your purpose is supposed to have. If you're supposed to touch somebody that is then supposed to touch 20 other people, and those 20 other people are supposed to touch 1,000 people, and you don't do your part, then guess what? None of those people are going to be touched simply because you as one individual did not do your part. That is why it is important to know that as God's people, we submit to his will and whatever it is that he wants to do with us, knowing that his will actually does help us and glorify us, especially if we're operating in our purpose, and not just get very comfortable with not wanting to do or be anything much. Sorry, but not sorry. So if we continue on, we get into the story of the talents. And it says in 14, for it's like the man who was about to take a journey. The man in this case is God. He called his servants, the servants are you, together and entrusted them with his possessions. To one he gave 5 talents, to the other he gave 2, to the other one he gave 1, each according, and I want you to pay attention to this, each according to their own ability. And then he went about this journey. So understand, everybody's purpose is not the same, right? It's like some people have a bigger purpose than others. Some people are meant to touch millions of people. Some people are meant to touch 5. Some people are born into situations where they have the ability or a easier means to make about their purpose, and some people are not. But notice what he says. He's giving you talents according to your own ability, meaning that whatever talents that he gave you, that it is within your ability in order to achieve it. Some people have 20 million talents that God wants them. Maybe not 20 million, that's a bit much. Some people might have 3 or 4 different talents that he wants you to achieve. Some people, he's like, okay, I want you to sing, I want you to act, and I want you to start a business. There go your 3 talents right there, go do that. The other person, it just might be 1 talent. But whatever it is, it's according to your own ability, meaning that there's no excuse in order for you not to do it, because God already says that he gave you the talents according to your own ability, and therefore you can achieve them, period, point dot. And that whatever situation you were born into, because some people have 5 talents, this could be a very rich person, and some people have 2 talents, that could be a middle class person, and some people have 1 talent. Yes, it does suck to have 1 talent. It does suck not to be born in a situation where it may be more difficult to get to a place where you have 5 talents, or you have more opportunities, or you have more resources at your disposal as opposed to somebody who have 5 talents, but it don't matter. Either way, those are the talents or the situation that you were born into, and therefore you are expected to utilize your talents to the best of your ability to get done what God has called you to do when he comes back, right? So now, it says, the one who had received 5 talents went at once and traded them, and he made a profit. Likewise, the one who had 2 made a profit and gained 2 more. And the one who had 5 gained 5 more. So notice, yes, the one who had 5 talents might have been given more resources to work with, so therefore it was easier to double his talents because now he has 10. The one who has 2 talents, he did whatever he could do, and yet he has 4, which no, he still don't even have 5 talents, and 5 talents, like he don't even have the same amount of talents that the guy with 5 talents started off with, right? But it don't matter. Because God don't view it like that. God don't view, oh, you didn't do the same as the one with 5 talents and now you don't have 10. Instead, you only have 4. But notice that the same amount of effort was put in, because the effort is that they both doubled their talents. It didn't matter that the one with 2 talents didn't get all the way up to 10 talents, just like the one with 10 talents. That started off with 5 talents, but both of them did whatever they could do with what they had, and they were able to double their talents. So both of them put in the same amount of work. God does not look at it as like, oh, you didn't make $1 million, you ain't make 6 figures, you ain't make $1 billion like this person. No, he's looking at the amount of effort that you put in and what you did in order to utilize your talent in order to get the same results as what he wanted you to do, because he wanted all of them to double their talents. Even the one with 1 talent, he wanted him to double his talent, right? Likewise, and then it says, but the one who had received the 1 talent dug a hole into the ground and hid his master's money. So what are you hiding? I know that I was definitely like this when it came to showing my intelligence, showing what I knew about the Bible, being a Christian. I wasn't ashamed to be a Christian, but really showing how much I really understood the Bible, because people thought it was weird. So oftentimes it's like you hide certain aspects about yourself because you might be ashamed, you might be embarrassed to sing in front of other people. But if God wants you to sing the gospel and show your voice to the world in order to save people, then that's what it is. You can't hide your talents because you are fearful or because you don't know what to do with them. That's not an excuse. God is not going to be like, oh, well, at least you came into the world with what you had and you just have 1 talent. No, he didn't give you to do that. He gave it to you to double and to do something with. And then it says, now after a long time, the master of the servants returned and settled the accounts with him. And the one who received 5 talents came and brought to him 5 more, saying, Master, you entrusted me with 5 talents. See, I have made a profit and gained 5 more. And then the master said, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful. You have been trustworthy over little, and I will charge you of many, and share things with your master. Also, the one who had 2 talents came forward and saying, you entrusted 2 talents to me. See, I have made a profit and gained 2 more talents. His master said to him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful and trustworthy over the little. I will put you in charge of many things, and share the joy of the master with your journey. I want to stop there.
Are you tired of being stuck in the same place day after day, month after month, year after year, and you just don't know how to make your life better, level up your life, or glow up your life? Do you want to write a book, start a business, or you just don't know how to take the next steps? Hi, I am Dr. Sophia Reed, and I know what that's like. Just like it says in Philippians 4:12, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. And I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. Despite popular belief, God does want you to have the life that you desire. But the secret to that is to also have contentment, and to know that to whom much is given, much is required. If you join my Patreon for only $5 a month, I give self-improvement tips on how to level up your life, how to help you reach goals, how to start an online business, how to write a book. Whatever goals you have for yourself, I can definitely help you get there. So, join today.
Because notice, God did not care that he didn't get as many talents as the other one. Both of them, he was saying that whatever it is that you have and whatever you started with and whatever your ability was, you were faithful with that. Well done. You have proven yourself faithful. You have been proving yourself trustworthy. And so this even goes to the fact that if you have a passion and a purpose to do something big, but you're not faithful in the small things, God is not going to reward you. And I can even tell you a personal story that when I used to work my 9 to 5 and I saw people who needed encouragement, I was still working my business in my 9 to 5 and I was working so hard on my business on empowering and encouraging women and all this, that, and the third. And I was like, God, what's wrong? Why am I not seeing the return on my result? He's like, okay, what your problem is that people are specific. I put you in that job for a reason. I know it's not the job that is your quote unquote purpose, which you think is your business, but everything is a purpose. How are you going to sit up there and see these people suffering and needing words of encouragement, and you're going to sit up there and turn your back because you're too busy because you want to do something else? I didn't tell you to do that. How can you encourage people on a massive level if you're not even encouraging people right where you're at? It don't matter if it's one person that you need to encourage. There are 2 people, 5 people, 10 people. It don't matter. At the end of the day, you can't say, oh, I want to encourage thousands or I want to encourage millions when you're not even doing your job here right where I had you. So God will reward you if you are able to be faithful with the little things. And that's how you get more resources. Because if you notice in both those situations, they did what they had to do with what they had. And he said, not only will you share in my victory, but I'm going to give you more. So even when both of them operated and utilized the talents and the gifts that they had, that wasn't it. It wasn't like the 5 talents were just going to have 10 talents forever. It wasn't like the one with 5 talent or 2 talents was going to have the 4 talents that he doubled forever. That was just a starting point. That was just a test to see what are you willing to do with what you have, and are you going to be faithful and trustworthy with the things that I've given you? And once you have proven that to be the case, then guess what? I have no problem giving you more, but ultimately you have to be faithful with what you have. And the refusal to do that, or saying that you can't, or you don't have the resources, or this is not what you want, or you want to help people in this way and you don't want to do it on a small level, and I expect God to reward me on a massive level, but you're not doing it over here, then guess what? That's a problem. Because God did not tell you that. You have to be faithful in all areas, and you have to know that each time you choose to do these things on a small level, it's encouraging your skill set or increasing your skill set, and it's also showing that you are trust and faithful. How can you be given $1 million if you're not faithful with $1,000? If you're not faithful with $5? If you're not faithful with the small things? How can God trust you to manage your money when he gives you a whole bunch, when you can't even be trustful with the little money that you have, and you always running your account into the negative? No, it's not ideal to be like the 1 talent person. You're like, David, he got $1 million, those 5 talents over there, all I got is $100. Okay, but you could be faithful with that though, right? And so then what God said to the one who had 1 talent, because this is where it really gets interesting, and this is why there's no excuse. It says, also the one who had also the one who had 1 talent came forward and said, Master, I knew you would be harsh and demanding man, reaping the harvest where you did not sow and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid to lose the talent, and I went and hid the talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours to own. But the master answered him, you wicked and lazy servant. You knew that I did not reap the harvest where I did not sow or gather seed, and where I didn't scatter seed. You ought to at least put my money in the bank at the return, and I would have at least gotten back some interest. It's like, yeah, you might not have doubled it, but you would have got something. You would have did something, right? So take away the talent from him, this 1 talent, and give it to the one who has 10. So what is God saying? You can't sit up there and make excuses and be like, oh God, I know that you put me on this earth, but see, I didn't do bad. I didn't do worse. And so therefore I just kind of stayed in one spot because I didn't want to take a leap of faith and I didn't want to fail. I was scared of failing. I was scared of being fearful, because we know that God specifically tells us not to fear. And if he gave you those talents according to your own ability, then you have to trust that he gave you the ability to utilize those talents so that you can get somewhere. And so when you choose to fear, or you're afraid, and you feel like, oh, I've hidden my talents underneath the sand, nobody got to see them. But guess what? I didn't lose any money. I didn't have to fail. I didn't take a leap of faith and not succeed. So God, you should just be happy because I'm still in the same spot as to where you left. No, That's not what he put you here for. He didn't put you to be in the same spot. Even when I have failed in the situations, and I have failed many times, I learned something. It is better to try. Like he said, you could have at least done something and gotten some interest. You could have did the bare minimum and drove it to the bank, or horse ride it to the bank, whatever they had back then, and give it to a banker and say, here, let me earn something. You could have done something. There's no excuse for not utilizing and doing something specifically that God asked you to put you here for. Even if it's on the minimal level, God is saying, you wicked and lazy servant, because that means that you have literally sat and wasted your life away, because when you were born, I said, here, I'll be back. When I come back, either when you die or when Jesus returns, we'll see what you did with your life. And you literally are no better than when I put you here. You have done nothing. You have not increased. You have not helped anybody. You have not done anything productive or fruitful with your life with the things that I have given you. Even though it was one talent, you have not done anything. And so even during this process, God is like, okay, if you're not going to use your purpose, then guess what? I'm giving it to somebody else.
You may be a divorcee, a widow, a one-night stand, a woman that has never been married, or a woman who became a mother through an unplanned pregnancy. It does not matter. What does matter is today. Today is a new day. Yesterday is gone and passed away. And with every renewing day, you have an opportunity to reinvent yourself. But the key is stepping into your future and letting go of the past. Hi, my name is Dr. Sophia Reed, and that was just a short excerpt from my book, Fix It Jesus for Single Moms Only, the straightforward, no-nonsense guide to passion, purpose, and prayer. This 30-day devotional is an Amazon bestseller and is available on Kindle, Amazon, and also through audiobook. I created this book specifically for single moms because it is dedicated to your journey as a single mom and living the best life possible, the one that God has for you. Don't continue to stand in condemnation because you are a single mom. God does not view you as inadequate, and therefore you no longer need to see yourself as such. Today is a new day. It is time to step forward into the life and the purpose that God has for you. And also, don't forget to visit my website where you can get the accompanying workbook and video for the book.
I know some of y'all might have had ideas, and because you were too scared to step out on faith, all of a sudden a year or two later, you see your idea on TV, and now this person is making money doing your idea. God was like, okay, but you wasn't moving and you wasn't shaking on it, so why am I going to sit up here and wait for you to be paralyzed in fear in order to stop this business idea from being presented in the world? Yes, it was originally your talent. Yes, it was originally your idea, but now I'm going to give it to the one with 10 talents, because at least I know they can do something with it. At least I know they're going to double it. At least I know they're going to utilize it. And you was just sitting up there scared, talking about wishing upon a star, hoping that something would come to pass, making excuses as to why you didn't. Hiding it somewhere. Tell me I don't have the resources. If you would have did something, God would have met you. But now the purpose and the passions and the thing that God has for you is not even going to come to pass at all, because you wasn't even faithful with what you had. Well, I'm going to give you more. What sense does that make? And so, it says in verse 29, for to everyone who has and values his blessings and gifts from God and use them wisely, more will be given. He will richly supply so that he will have an abundance, but from those who does not have, because he has ignored and disregarded his blessings and gift from God, even what he does have will be taken away. So it's like, why do you want your blessings to be taken away because you're scared? And it's like, when ideas and stuff are planted in your head, don't necessarily think that they are random or that you can't do them. Sometimes those ideas are specifically put there because God put them there and he's wanting you to act on them. And when you don't, that's what he's talking about. You're ignoring them. You're ignoring God, because he's like, I gave you that dream. I put that idea in your head. I sent that person specifically to you to help you, and you sat up there and you disregarded it and you pretended like you couldn't do it because you were scared, or you just didn't want to, because you was lazy, or because you lacked faith, or because you didn't believe. So now this wonderful life that you could have had you had trusted me and had you acted on the talents and the gifts and abilities that I gave you, is going to somewhere else. And the only thing you could do is sit up there and watch and wonder why and what if. And you can't blame God for giving your blessing to somebody else. The only person that you can blame is yourself, because you did not try and you did not do. And the only person who caused you to lose your blessing was yourself. So I want to go into one last verse in Job.
God did not give me a spirit of fear. He does not want me to be ashamed of who I am or insecure. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and from here on out, that is exactly how I will behave. Hi, my name is Dr. Sophia Reed, and I am the creator of the Christian lifestyle blog, Sophie-sticatedmom.com, and that was just one of 29 affirmations from my guide, Fix It Jesus, the Ultimate Christian Manifestation Guide, where each affirmation is backed up with an actual Bible verse that validates the affirmation. That way you know that the affirmation is actually biblical. Affirmations are in the area of faith, hardship, relationships, prosperity, and self-esteem. Learn to stop self-defeating thoughts that are blocking you from your blessing and learn to speak things into existence. This guide will show you how to do that. For only $10, it can be yours.
And it's chapter 42 and verse 2. And it says, I know you can do all things, and that no thought or purpose of yours can be restrained. So what this is because as people, what do we like to do? We like to give a whole lot of excuses as to why we can't, right? And God is like, but if it's my will, it's my will. That's not saying that you're going to face roadblocks or whatever, but I don't need your excuses. Because that's simply what they are, excuses. If I spoke it into existence and I said that you have this purpose and you're going to prosper and that you can do this, then nobody's going to stop it. What man or what situations or what mountains is going to stop God if you really set your mind into doing something that I have ordained for you to do using your gifts and talents that I have specifically given you? Who can stop it? Who can stand against that? What sense does that make? Nobody. And when we go into the dynamic of Job, you have to understand that Job was saying this not from a place of abundance. Job had been in abundance. If you remember at the beginning of the chapter, he had a whole bunch. And the devil came to God and was like, the only reason why Job is like he is and he's a man of God is because you have protected him so much. So take away everything he has. He lost his kids. He lost his money. He lost his business. He lost his livestock. He lost his home, everything. And then he had these boils and this sickness all over his skin where he was just in pain just to breathe and move around. But yet Job still said, he didn't use that as an excuse, as to say, oh, I need to lack faith or all this other type of stuff. Job was like, no. Let's read it again. I know you can do all things. And this is in chapter 42 verse 2. I know that you can do all things and that no thought or purpose of yours can be restrained. It did not matter what I went through. It did not matter if I lost all that I had. It did not matter if I was born into less ideal circumstances. It did not matter if things did not go the way that I wanted them to. It did not matter if there were some roadblocks that came along the way. It did not matter if my friends, because if you read Job, his wife was telling him to curse God. His friends was telling him to curse God. Nobody believed him. Everybody was blaming Job. It don't matter if I have to sit up here and I have to stand by myself and I'm the only one who believes in my purpose or believe that I can do it. It don't matter. Because I'm not listening to everybody else. I'm listening to God, and I know that if God spoke it, then it's going to happen. And even better, I know that if I don't do it, it's really going to make God mad. And I'm going to be that wicked and lazy servant. And that wonderful life that he said that I could have is going to be taken away and it's going to be given to somebody else. And the only person that's going to have to be accountable for that when God comes back or when you see him whenever you die is you. You have to be sitting up there explaining to God and making up all these excuses as to why you did not do what he asked you to do. And I would love to hear that excuse because God going to be sitting up there looking at you side out like, girl, bye. Do you think I'm not God and I did not give you these abilities, these talents, and these situations in your life in order to make it happen? You was the one who chose to ignore it. So don't sit up here and make excuses for me as to why you wasted your life away. You sit up there trying to explain to me. You need to explain that to somebody else because I'm not having it. Because if I'm God and I set this on the path or set you on the path for this for you to do, it was going to get done. There's no excuse for that. And what do you think the punishment is going to be? Maybe it won't be a punishment, but you have to understand that if God has a purpose for you, you don't know how that purpose is going to affect people way down in the long run. Imagine if Jesus was like, yeah, that whole crucifixion thing, I don't want to do that. Then what? We wouldn't be saved. We wouldn't have the Holy Spirit. A lot of things wouldn't happen if he was sitting up there listening to the devil who tempted him on top of the mountain, talking about bow to me and I can give you all the riches of the world. You don't need to do this whole crucifixion thing. You can't just choose to go your whole way when God has specifically put you here for a purpose. If Jesus just went all about and go all over the place, who knows what would have happened? We wouldn't have been here today. We wouldn't have been able to have the Holy Spirit. We wouldn't have had a lot of things. And that was just one man, and he was able to touch billions. And so it's like, never discredit your purpose and what God put you here for, and what you were supposed to be doing with your purpose, and the other people that it's supposed to affect. And know that when you refuse to step into it, it can have lasting effects on other people that might have got saved because they heard you say something, because you stopped to talk to them, because you might have wrote a book, because you might have wrote a blog or something to that effect. A lot of people could have been helped by that situation, but because you didn't, now either God got to find somebody else, or now there's effects that has happened because you chose not to listen to God, and you chose to go about your own way and not do the things that he asked you to do, and now you have to be accountable for that. So never think that as a servant of God, your life is purely your own, because when you choose to give it to God, you choose to live out his purpose. And know that when he chooses to live out your purpose, you're going to get double your talents, and God is going to give you more on top of that. It's always for your benefit. That's what people don't get. It's not to hurt you. It's always for God to give you more. And God is like, so why don't you just do it? So that's what everybody, or I want to challenge all of you to do. Are you living in your purpose? Are you scared? Is there something that you're backing away from? What is it? What is it that you feel that you can't do? And I want you to rid yourself of that and just know, because if God is God, then that's just it. Period. Point dot. Work with God and get to it, and stop living below what God intended you to be. All right. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to stay tuned after the video, because that is where you can subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as my other social media, and also that is where you can view my blog, where I have so much other content and videos for you to watch. Until next time. Bye, y'all.
Was afraid that he was going to lose it, when we already know God specifically says, I gave you this talent according to your own ability. The reason why I gave you this is because I entrusted you to allow something to happen with that talent, to make it grow and to prosper. That's the point of a talent, not to bury whatever the gifts or whatever that I have given you into the ground so nobody can see it. And now you want to sit up here and come to me and be like, oh, but I didn't lose it, but nobody saw it either. Nobody saw that gift that you had. Nobody got encouraged by your words. Nobody read that book that you didn't write. Nobody heard that song that you didn't sing. Nobody heard any of that because your behind was too scared to step out. I love getting up close and personal, and if you want to connect with me and stay updated and get more amazing content, then feel free to follow me on social media. You can follow me on Instagram, where I post additional content as well as stories. Or if you don't have an Instagram, then you can also like my Facebook page, where I also post additional content. If you enjoyed my show and want to donate into my ministry, you can do that at paypal.me/sophisticatedmom on any mobile device or computer. Not ready for the show to end? It doesn't have to. You can head over to my site, where you can read hundreds of articles. And also you can feel free to shop my store, where I have all of my products for sale. And last but not least, for even more video content, feel free to visit my YouTube channel, where I talk about a wide array of content. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time, stay blessed.
Like a butterfly.